Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Ilse van Eck and today I will be speaking to you about risks in veterinary practices. I basically have five top discussion points and we will go through them each one individually in more detail, and we will also talk a little bit about what we can offer you as a veterinary practice to help curb some of these risks and health and safety risks as well as security risks, especially as this is our forte at Fidelity ADT. So as an introduction today, just to cover the five top hazards veterinary practices face, we will be talking about animal-inflicted injuries, exposure to hazardous chemicals, including drugs and medication, back injuries from lifting, exposure to radiation or waste, and injuries from violence, especially in our country, in South Africa. And as Fidelity ADT, we obviously have lots of technologies that can assist a veterinary practice manager and business owner to protect their valuable property and help the staff as well. So today, in more depth, I'm going to go into the first topic, which is animal-inflicted injuries, and I found it very interesting that these are usually bites and scratches from small animals, and definitely kicks and crushes that happens when lifting of large animals takes place. And obviously, it's one of the risks your staff faces on a daily basis. Second, there's the exposure to hazardous chemicals, including drugs and medication. And the most common route of transmission is actually hand-to-mouth transmission. When people are not washing hands regularly, your staff, for instance, and they do have a lunch break and eat, there's obviously a transmission that can take place. So this is definitely one of the big hygiene risks in a veterinary practice, and there's obviously things that you could apply, which I'll get to later in the slides, to curb these sorts of transmissions of common diseases and things like that. Thirdly, today, there's also one of the things that I found very interesting is back injuries from lifting. And it's not lifting dog food necessarily, or bags of dog food, but rather live animals that may twist and squirm while they are being lifted by your staff. Therefore, it's important to teach your staff proper lifting techniques to help them assist in not getting back injuries, for instance. The fourth point that I would like to discuss today is exposures to radiation or waste. In your surgery rooms, patients recovering from surgeries will give off gases, and there could be short-term effects for your staff, which includes dizziness and headaches if they are basically exposed to these. Could also have long-term effects, and this could include reproductive problems, and it could also affect your liver. There's also fire hazards in your practices from oxygen tanks and other gas tanks on the premises, and these should be obviously secured well. Our last topic today, or point or risk that I've identified in a veterinary practice, is injuries from violence. And this is more common than any of the above. And I really am passionate about this, being in the security industry for about 15 years. And because there's drugs and money on the premises, robberies can sometimes take place. Also, break-ins for valuables like your computer hardware, again, medication is really valuable, and is, it's something that you need to consider to try and make sure that your losses are curbed, or that your premises are protected. The last point on my slide is basically talking to you today about customer shoplifting and the losses of stock on hand and product protection. And I've been involved in retail specifically for the last 15 years, applying technology that can assist business owners against shrinkage and actually people stealing from the sales floor and staff. So just to finish off, I mean, that was really interesting for me. This topic stretched me a little bit. I visited one of my areas, veterinary practices, to walk around, and they were very kind to show me around. And the top 5 that I've just discussed with you is some of the risks that I've identified. In saying this, I would like to perhaps give you guys some advice today on some of the technologies and products that's out there, not just from us, but any other reputable security company out there that you can think of applying to your business to help protect your assets, help with safety of your staff, which is really important. So in saying that, I'm going to go over to how we can assist, or how any other reputable company out there can assist you in minimizing your risk. So just as a short and brief introduction, I have been involved and working for Fidelity ADT for the past 7 years, and specifically working for the technology department and the commercial division that looks after commercial businesses, and yours would fall into our space. So I would like to today explain to you some of the technologies available, not just from us, but other reputable companies, and how we can assist you as a business owner to protect your staff. Firstly, most of you may know that Fidelity ADT offers monitoring and response services. This is to help assist when there's armed robberies to your practices, that there's actually panic buttons that can be pressed and an armed guard or a vehicle would respond. To say that we've got one of the largest fleets, and we basically also pride ourselves in one of the fastest response times in the industry. Now, it's very important that when you choose an alarm monitoring company, that you choose one that is willing to take on the risk with you as a business owner, and that we would, make sure that we put our money behind our trained and well-trained officers to assist in protecting your staff. Our mission is clearly to always be there. On this slide, I just wanted to tell you that we also take over current alarm systems for monitoring and response, and we make sure that your technology is up to date and that we comply with the bylaw 25 rules, that we will take care of the maintenance of the alarm system and guide you on how to test and make sure that your property is always safe and secure. Just the last slide on monitoring and response is that Fidelity ADT has invested a lot of money of late in innovation. It's something that we're really passionate about, and we've created and patented our own Internet of Things IoT alarm monitoring radio that sits on the Sigfox network. And it basically assists a business owner that these devices and signals can't be jammed. So when there's a breaking in at night, when there's no one at the property, people can actually not jam the GSM signals to our control room, which makes sure that your property is actually protected 24/7. We also offer a 24/7 medical assistance if you take monitoring and response, for instance, from us. And the 24/7 medical assistance is for all your staff on the premises, and our control rooms are very well trained on how to help people in need when there's a panic button or any crisis situation, be it from an armed robbery or even violence or anything else that happens on site. We also pride ourselves in some innovation which is called ADT Find You. This is a remote panic button which we could offer for your staff. It's something that you could consider, where your staff in any situation can get onto the phone and actually remotely use this as a panic button, and the vehicle will respond to the phone. So as per my last slide, when I spoke about armed robberies to premises like yourselves, cash is one of the reasons that people might target a veterinary practice and see it as an easy target. Fidelity offers cash collections, and we also take care of the risk of your money. So there's devices that we could offer, and as soon as the cash is deposited, we take full risk and responsibility for the cash on the premises. Cleaning and hygiene services is definitely something a business practice should consider. If you think of my fourth slide, or the third one, it was basically around scratches and people washing hands. Fidelity Cleaning is a new business, and I know that there's other reputable companies out there as well. And as a business owner, this is something that you could maybe invest in to make sure that there's stations everywhere and devices that your staff could use to make sure that the practice is at all times clinical and clean. to avoid infections. Should you have a fleet, we also offer fleet services of Secure Drive. It's called Secure Drive. It's something you as a business owner can also think of when it comes to driver behavior on maybe some of the vehicles that you have. And also from a security point of view, we offer it as a slightly different product to market and to a business owner. It's all about safety and responding to a vehicle in the case of an emergency, hijacking, which can take place in front of your property or when your vehicles are on the road. It's also for fleet management. It's got a dashboard, and like many other products out there, you can manage driver behavior and fuel consumption, etc. Guarding is also one of our strengths. It's also something you as a business owner can consider, especially when it comes to after-hour incidents where you might need ad hoc services. Riskwatch is something that we offer as a service to you when you are monitoring and response customer as well. So should there be a break-in and the property door is open and you need someone to guard the property for the evening, it's something that we offer to you. In our business, for instance, we have 44,000 people or manpower. We're that strong. So we can easily deploy nationally within a call to our control room. Fidelity Fire Solutions is really something to consider, or perhaps fire solutions for your business practice. When I spoke to you about the gas tanks and the oxygen tanks, it's really important to make sure for the safety of your staff and also your customers that you contain and make sure that the tanks are in proper enclosures. We also have fire detection systems that could be installed in a business practice, and this is for early detection of fires so that it can be detected early to ensure that your risk is mitigated. This will also help with your insurance as a business owner. And of course, then we offer the normal fire extinguishers, which is a regulation which you should have in the practice. And as a business owner, perhaps if you don't know this, but you need to service these fire extinguishers at least once a year. So the last two slides I'd like to talk to you today about is something that I've put my mind to when after I visited the veterinary practice, predominantly used in a retail environment, but can easily be installed into a veterinary practice. EAS, or electronic article surveillance, is a loss prevention technology, and it assists with the business owner specifically in protecting the products from theft. And that could be from a customer, staff member, basically tags valuable goods like your medicines and ensures that it doesn't go out the front door without being paid for. It's a technology that's widely used in retail environments and can definitely make a difference in a veterinary practice. It's got different systems. You can have camera systems linked to it. CCTV is also an option for you as a veterinary practice to make sure that you have recordings of customer engagements, how your staff treats the animals, which is really, I think, in my view, as a customer, should there be an incident, that you do have a recording of it. And yeah, our EAS systems helps to make sure that stock stays on the sales floor and that it actually converts into sales and not shrinkage. And that is me for today. I hope that it was informative and that you actually have learned something today about the 5 risks in veterinary practices and some of the technologies around that you can actually use to assist you as a business owner to protect your staff, but also your property and your business. Thank you.